Alright everyone, and welcome to a battle replay commentary video of Louen's quest battle, Wars of Errantry, Badlands. Now this was completed on very hard difficulty, and it was with the default army, which is in the main menu quest battle section. Now the kind of default army that they give is quite strong actually, and I was thinking just before the battle that it would be pretty strong against what was going to be thrown at us, and I was kind of right. These knights and the Grail Guardians, in fact, pretty much all of these cav units really do hold their own, especially against a lot of these units on here. You can see that we were against 4 of the Legendary Lord war bosses, so it was tricky in that sense. But let's watch the replay. I'll do a bit of commentary over how I played. If you want to watch me do it in real time, the video is already on my channel, so you can go back and watch that. However, let's jump in and see if there's things that we could have done differently. Alright, the deployment phase, just going to pause quickly. So the deployment phase, we had lined up all of our infantry, and then we'd put our cav behind. We did use control groups for these. In front of us is the small group of pilgrims, and they were led by their prophetess just there, and so they were basically just fodder. They're not that impressive or anything, they're just there for extra support. Now we do have 2 cliff sides here, and they do have their Goblin Rock Lobber and the Doom Diver catapults. What my strategy was to rush them as quickly as possible and try and get up this hill, kind of disrupt their lines a bit. I think maybe in hindsight you could possibly go round both of these sides with some of your cav, maybe not all of them, but at least some, and just start coming from behind them. That would maybe try and get to these batlines quicker. I'm not really sure because the cliffs are quite big, so by the time you get all the way around here, you might have already missed a lot of the fighting, and maybe some of the front line here with the foot squires, etc., might have already broken or routed. So yeah, not sure about that strategy, but it is an option. So if we just press play, and I'll just toggle that off for now so we can watch the battle. So you can see already I've clicked everyone up the hill, and actually this spider just goes out of vision in a second, which kind of disrupts the charge. You can see I've also had my Green Knight just here. He had Vanguard, so he's just going to start running up as well. Extremely strong unit, along with Louen, of course. So I'm just going to fly straight in with the 2 of them, or ride in and then fly. We've also got the Royal Pegasus Knights. I'm just kind of hovering around with them for now. And here we go, here comes the Green Knight for a charge. Let's watch him. He's going to go straight into these squigs. And that is the battle commenced, while Louen lands straight on top of Skarsnik. In hindsight, of course, Skarsnik is anti-large armor piercing, so he actually loses this fight, even though he's level 10 and he's level 30. But Louen has crazy regeneration, so it actually doesn't matter in the end. You can see that I am charging up the hill with all of my cav. We're running into the spider there, the squigs, and some of these gobos. Like I said, I think I would have preferred maybe just have some come around the sides. You can see we actually break them really quickly here, especially these 3 are already gone. Louen here, not doing fantastic, but not doing terrible either. You just saw a spell go off. That was my Thunderbolt from my Lord, who is somewhere. There she is over there. The Wizard, who is the Storm type with the Thunderbolt. So yep, that is us already pushed through, and this is even on a very hard difficulty, but you can see just how strong all my units are, especially these Royal Pegasus Knights and the Grail Knights there, just pushing everyone away. And like I was saying, Leuen's health really low, but you can see there it's ticking up by 5 every second. So it's a crazy amount of regen, really. So I kind of just recharge with him just now and try and break some of them fully and make them rout. As for the Spider, I did have a few units on it, and you can see now I'm just clicking some of my anti-large cav onto it, just to try and get rid of that as quickly as possible. In the meantime, we have a new challenger approaching, Wurrzag. Now he is riding his boar on this occasion, but he does have his savage orc army on its way, along with some of these big ones that are riding their boars. And they are also followed by a giant. If we have a quick look at the minimap, you can see pretty much scared everyone off now. I chased these ones off with these cav and they instantly routed. I'm just chasing those squigs off as well. You can see Skarsnik now is having a very terrible time. I don't think we can even see him in there. He is somewhere in there. I think he's like right there. But yeah, he's having a really... Yeah, he's right there. You can see his model, and he's having a very, very unfortunate time. And that is the Spider fully routed as well. You can see just how strong our army is here. And that's when I decide to lift Louen and the Pegasus Knights and get ready for the next wave. So what I do here is I'm clicking frantically to try and form a new line. You can see some of them are forming a new line. I'm not actually sure what happened because it kind of just got into a mess. And you can see it here. They're not really listening to my command. They're still trying to attack Skarsnik, who's right there. But yeah, we are trying our best to form a line, and that was when I went forward with Louen. And like I'm saying, you can see with his HP, he's actually regened a lot of it. This is the unfortunate part that happens just now, where we get the effigy of the Git, where he can't move for 10 seconds. So yeah, he's literally just standing there and getting hit by a bunch of the archers. But yeah, it's not really a big deal for him. He's quite happy. Oh, and you can see there the Reliquary just got an absolute beating by the giant, who's got Fisted Gork on. So yeah, the very unfortunate Reliquary is not going to be long for this world, as Louen has finally dropped in, and that is the Reliquary gone. There's a the foot rather of Gork coming in, or Mork, Gork and Mork, and yeah, that hit some of my men at arms there, but not a problem for them. We managed to catch some of the boar, savage orc boar biggins, which were trying to flank us there, so we picked them off. Now we're charging in. You can see it's like really green tide moment here with the tribal savage orcs trying to push through. But obviously they have very low armor, and our leadership is wavering, and their attack and everything's wavering too. So it's going quite nicely. I did have the frostbite coming in on them, and that's when their WHIII triggered as well. But it's not a problem. We're now bringing some of our questing knights over just to chase away these Arab boys. And it is at that point that Azhag decides to join in. And so I'm at this point just really trying to finish these guys off. I'm pushing for getting rid of Wurrzag, and especially this green tide of savage orcs just here. I probably could have done a lot better in hindsight. Just bringing some of these cav round would have really just got rid of these instantly pretty much, especially with a charge into their back. So yeah, in hindsight, I can definitely use my cav a lot better here, and probably over here too. I mean, even just clicking one of these Grail Knights across would have actually got rid of these pretty much instantly. So yeah, if I was doing it differently, I'd probably do that and make the most of it. I've just dropped a spell there as well, which was the Curse of the Midnight Wind. Reduces their attack and armor. And like I'm saying, we're just trying to get rid of them as quickly as possible. I'm surrounding the giant with my Grail Knights and the anti-large cav, just to get rid of him. And at this point, I'm bringing back Louen, because I see Azhag trying to fly in, because he wants to have a bit of the action. He's got his Wyvern, and he's about to land on top of my head. And so yeah, you can see Louen, I've clicked, he's coming over to have his say. And then he comes, bang, nice charge there. And then the duel begins. Who wins? The level 30 Louen or the level 10 Azhag? Yeah. That answers the question already, as he attempts to try and run. He runs into my men-at-arm pole arms here. But yeah, you can see his HP just getting absolutely destroyed. Look at that. Every hit, huge chunks coming off. Yeah, he's not happy. And then that's when I bring in my Royal Pegasus Knights as well to try and do a bit more of that anti-large damage. That's Wurrzag had enough. He's running off, and I'm just cleaning up now with the rest of my cav. And then come the next wave. Now you can see here, Azhag is literally routed already, and there he goes. He has had enough. And if we just watch, he attempts to flee, but yeah, that's completely in vain, as Louen has a good shot at him, and down he goes. So yeah, now we're pushing back. The forest goblins here just watching their master get destroyed. And the side here, huge charge from both sides. The big ones on their boars versus the Grail Knights, the Questing Knights. Who would win? Of course, it's going to be the Knights of the Realm. And the Grail Knights there. Wasn't Questing Knights in the end. But yeah, you can see those big ones are not happy at all about that. So they are going to instantly run away. Now we've just got a blob of Orc boys here. And you can see that they are not very happy at all with their lord recently dying. And so I'm just going to charge in with my Pegasus Knights along with anyone else that is around. Again, I've dropped that spell to reduce their attack and armor. And this is where I just literally click everybody to try and get rid of these before our next wave comes in. Yeah, if we watch here, we are... Again, I think I could have just played a bit better, just brought some of my cav round, done some charges into the back of them here, would have absolutely decimated them, especially with these, I mean, even the Grail Knights here, or the Questing Knights, any of them. So instead I just throw a nice spell right across them, you can see that knocked them all over. But yeah, like I'm saying, we should have just maybe come into the back of them. At the end of the day, they're not strong units at all, they're only tier 1 Orc boys, so it's not a happy day for them at all. Now in comes the last of the reinforcements, and that will be our Grimgor here. You can see we've got rid of Skarsnik, we're pretty much done with our Azhag, done with Wurrzag, and in comes Grimgor. Obviously he has the scariest army. You can see here he has his big ones on the boars. He's got the special version, I've just forgotten the name of them. But these are the Broken Tusk Mob. And then, of course, he has his Crimson Killers, which are absolutely deadly. I love their unit models, though. And then followed in by the Black Orcs. And then Grimmy himself coming in. Although he is only a level 10 Lord on this. So we just fly back really quickly. Yeah, this is where I've just finished off the rest of these guys. So I start lining up everybody into the last line. You can see the absolute destruction on the battlefield here. With all the bodies lying around. There's squigs there. Loads of orcs. In fact, pretty much all of these are orcs. I can see some men-at-arms there. Yeah, but they've been absolutely destroyed. Of course, there's our Azhag there. And there's a giant. So yeah, this is me lining up. And so what I do is I try and keep some of my knights to the side, my Grail Knights and my Questing Knights and the Grail Guardians, and then I line up with the rest of my infantry to try and meet them on the field. This is probably what I should have done before, like I was saying, we probably should have come into the back of them quite often, but yeah, we done it in the end. So at this point, that I just want to push forward with some of my Grail Knights here to just take out these Orc boar biggins. So that's what I'm doing just now. You can actually see some of the Knight Errants from my friendly having a shot too, which is actually teeing up nicely. If you just look over here, they are coming in pretty fast. So we do a charge here. And it does actually pretty decent damage. You can see this HP get absolutely chunked. But then you can see right behind me is these Crimson Killers, which I'm pretty scared about. Of course, they're infantry, but the Black Orcs as well with the great weapons are armor piercing, so it's pretty scary. Grimgor coming in. So I decide to instantly get rid of them. Like you can see they're already fleeing the battlefield. And I'm just getting behind my lines. At that point that we signal the charge and we go for them. Now the reason I do it quite early is actually because they see the cav lined up here, so I kind of have no choice but to start charging in with them. We have a huge number advantage anyway. You can see that their Lord Tancred there has just gone ahead first, and I love that kind of style. He's just like, I'm just going to go for it. And then that is when Louen and Grimgor are going to have their epic fight. And I'm using all the buffs. You can see him there. He's looking very happy. And the Green Knight is getting in on that action too. Here's the Crimson lads. They are pretty scary, especially because I'm facing them with my men-at-arms here. But look at the amount of cav coming over. It is absolutely delicious. Yep, we've just dropped a spell here to reduce their armor and melee attack again. And on this side, we are trying to fight them with the Grail Knights. I should have pulled these Grail Knights away. They shouldn't really be fighting like this. I think I do actually spot this in a second, but you can see Grimgor getting absolutely destroyed. I'm not sure if because the default army is given Louen such huge buffs, like level 30 and stuff, that I'm kind of winning here. But yeah, it's at this point I spot that these Grail Knights are actually losing, so I pull them back, and we run in with the Foot Squires instead, just to have that picked up. And you can see there Grimgor is already had enough, which is really quite funny because he's only been here for about 20 seconds. But yeah, he's getting chopped to pieces by everybody, and this is where Grimgor is slain. Unlucky big fella. And so that leads us on to the rest, just to clean up. If we have a quick look here, I think I looked at this in the previous video, but if you see here, 1556 kills, crazy amount of gold damage value there. We're at 32,000, which is just crazy. And you can see we've taken out these three and we're just finishing off Grimgor. The allies did alright, but nothing special. Overall, 325 dead entities. So yeah, it has gone very nicely indeed. Yeah, so we're just pushing on here. I think, was there just one more unit? Yeah, that's right. It's this unit just down here. But if I just fast forward slightly, we can just do a quick overview of the bodies that are all left over. You can see all the Savage Orcs here. Oh, I love that shot. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, look at that with the background. Oh, yeah. We're charging in on the final. I think it's just some... Yeah, it's these Boer boys that are on the hill here. We've just basically got all these left. So we're doing a charge. There it goes. Lovely. And a big charge from Louen. And he goes bang. And that instantly breaks them and routs them. They don't want to deal with that at all. The Pegasus Knights and Louen are now going to chase. And that is going to conclude the battle with hefty casualties on the enemy. And pretty much nothing on our side. Overall, I don't think there was really anything there that was too scary. Like I said, I definitely should have just utilised having that front line kind of be the hammer and anvil tactics with the cav in the front line. But overall, we kind of got away with it anyway. I'm wondering if the default army here is actually a lot stronger than what you would have generally in the campaign at this point. I'm not actually entirely sure when this campaign quest battle would unlock, at what level. But yeah, we had a level 30 Louen, so it really wasn't a problem for him at all. And you can see just the stats if I just click for damage. Yeah, these Royal Pegasus Knights did absolutely crazy damage. And of course, Louen and the Green Knight did too, along with the Grail Guardians. And overall, it was a successful battle. So hopefully that commentary has helped you decide a strategy for yourselves. If you enjoyed this video then, please like, comment and subscribe. And I shall see you all in the next one. Bye for now.